Welcome to the 2022 Economic Depression and Preparation Channel. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you for joining me for this Tuesday edition, Super Tuesday edition, May 3rd, 2022. Please be sure to subscribe and tell all of your friends and cohorts that this is the place to be for the 100% pure, unadulterated, true financial news. Thank you for your support. And don't forget that toward the end or middle of this month, we'll have another face-to-face Q&A session. I'll be announcing that date this weekend for the next live in-person face-to-face Q&A session. So have all your questions and comments or anything ready for that day. It will be the middle of this month coming up here. I'll have the date nailed down after this weekend here. I'll let you know. So let's get right into it, guys. Today, the markets were tepid. They were up a couple of points. The Dow Jones was up about 60 points or so. And everything was going up ahead of the Fed's meeting tomorrow. The Fed is going to be deciding about the rates, the meeting, whether to hike interest rates 50 or 75 basis points. They really should hike at a full basis point, guys, but we know that's not going to happen because we still have to service the U.S. $30 trillion debt, national debt that we have. And so the higher they raise the interest rates, the harder it is for us as a whole, as Americans, a country, to service our debt. So it's not going to get too high. But in any event, a 50-point basis hike is widely expected across the board, many experts. So today we have the Fed's favorite inflation gauge rose 5.2% in March as worker pay fell further behind. No surprise there. As I mentioned in earlier videos last year, that the real workers' wages, have not increased in the last 25 years to keep up with the pace of inflation. We haven't got a real raise in 25 years. And so now the CPI, the personal consumption expenditure, and this even excludes food and energy costs, ladies and gentlemen. And we know that's been skyrocketing in every grocery store in America and every gas station. The average price, according to AAA, according to a gallon of gasoline, is at $4.20 for regular U.S. dollars. And then food prices have been skyrocketing in the last 3 months, with an average increase of 8% on food prices every month. And so that rose 5.2%, the official numbers from a year ago, as according to reports right here. Now, the thing that is really, really concerning is that in the face of all of these aid packages that we've had here, the stimulus packages, nothing was addressed. Inflation was not addressed, and the supply chain shortage was not addressed. You notice that. They gave American stimulus checks, which we all indulged in. They gave us business loans, the PPP, right? The idle grants, all of those programs, but nothing was targeted at the American consumer, to us, the people buying the regular goods and services on a day-to-day basis to ease the supply shortage here. So and consequently, that means that there's a money issue, and this liquidity issue is going to get worse. The money issue Americans worry about slightly more than inflation. This was a Today article on growacorns.com. It's an app that you can download as well that helps save your pennies for investing in this stock market. So about 2 in 5 Americans say that money issues negatively impact their mental health. I should say so. A lot of people stay up late trying to balance the budget. Trying to balance the household budget. The top 2 concerns are not having enough emergency savings and being able to cover everyday expenses. I would say that's pretty accurate. Number 1, emergency savings of a lot of Americans have been eaten up by this inflation. Inflation now is at 9%. Real inflation is at 18% and growing in America. And your savings, even if you have savings, you're not getting any yield on it. The average APY yield on savings account, online or otherwise, is what, 0.50%, 0.5% APY, annual percentage yield. So you're not getting a whole lot of that growing. And you get in this inflation, it just burns through your savings. And then secondly, being able to cover everyday expenses. Well, we just talked about that in the previous article. Not just food, gas, but utilities and the cost of getting to work. Even if you're working from home, there's still cost involved with electricity, internet. As a matter of fact, my television cable provider just said that they're raising $10. They're raising the fee by $10 for something cable or television. I guess subscription fees are going up across the board. And so just little things like that adds up. And this is what we're facing here. But not only here in America, even Europe too. My friends in Europe, same thing. The prices are going up on a lot of things. And so every bank, whether it's the European Central Bank, the Federal Reserve Bank, they're trying to raise rates. They're trying to raise capital, but they're printing money up. And this money printing is what's causing this tremendously. So personal savings rates have dipped. And as you can see here in this chart, Money worries negatively impact on America's mental health, but not just the mental health, but the spiritual, physical, and everything is bankrupt because you're trying to survive in a world that things are getting more and more expensive. You guys know what I'm talking about. Being in debt, 48% say that's having discretionary spending money. It used to be the average American family would take what 2 or 3 vacations a year. Now you're lucky if you get one staycation a year because of the money just goes. I mean, hotel rental cars have gone insane. Even the lower 3-star, 2-star hotels, you can't get anything for under 120 a night that's decent and clean and safe, considering with this pandemic that we're just trying to come out of, supposedly. So now we have that. Saving for retirement, obviously that's a big concern with inflation eating up all the 401k plans and everything else. Paying for housing, stable income, investment portfolio performance. So that is some of the money concerns. Now, this is interesting here. And Reuters.com and others have been reporting that record high U.S. job openings. You guys have seen these signs all around America now hiring, from school bus drivers to teachers to airports to Dollar Generals to dollar stores. Everybody has a now hiring sign in front of their building. You notice that, right? On their billboard. But are they actually hiring, or are they actually collecting just a database of applicants? And I think it's more the latter. And another thing to be careful for is that a lot of these companies that say they're hiring, that's because a lot of people quit. Resignations are at an all-time high. And the reason why is because people are figuring out that if they can make a living, working at home or as an internet star or doing contracting work, self-employment and contracting work, they can make a living doing that. Why should they drive into an office and do 40 hours there when they're not making the kind of money and be taxed even more than they're being taxed if they were individual LLC or a self-employed contractor? They can make more money that way. And so people are getting smart. And today, so they rather quit than go through the hassle of going through a job fair and going through all these places. We see all these now hiring signs and everything like that. And so this is a key shift in this whole job market. Okay, hiring falls 95,000 to 6.7 million. Job openings increased to 11.5 million in March. Those resignations increased to 4.5 million. So on top of that, we have resignations according to the U.S. Labor Department, but we also have those people who have a job who are we're just trying to keep afloat, keep bills and everything, balance the budget every month, keep everything afloat. And then we have those who have given up looking for work because their field is completely rendered obsolete. Like, let's say, for instance, like car manufacturing, they're trying to switch over. You've seen Ford and GE try to switch over to electric cars and everything, but that's going to take 10 years for them to get the bugs out, for them to bring the jobs back and that kind of green energy that the Democrats have been promising for all of these years. That's going to take some time, okay? And even the Republicans promising to make America great again, make the world great again or whatever, but this is going to take some time. It takes at least 15 years, and this next depression that we're going into, as you know, is going to take 15 years for us to recover. We didn't recover from 2008. So stocks rise ahead of second day according to expected Fed hike, according to CNBC. The stocks, like I said, went up slightly today. They finished 67 points, nothing crazy, and the plunge protection team had to come in. They were actually down. What's crazy about this thing was the Dow Jones this morning was down I think 200 or 300 points, and all of a sudden it bounces back. Yesterday it comes up 80 points, today 60 points, so it's tepid. So, people are shorting the market, trying to get money and things of that nature, but it's widely anticipated that the decision tomorrow, which comes out around 2 p.m. tomorrow Eastern time, the Federal Reserve decision comes out tomorrow 2 p.m. Eastern time, with it largely expected to raise 50 basis points, what I was alluding to earlier. However, earlier, it's still on the table that there's going to be 2 more rate hikes, one in June and another one in July, and that can be even higher, maybe 75 basis points, maybe a full basis point. And that's what we're waiting on seeing if the Fed Reserve will continue to be aggressive with this thing, which we think they should be, because mortgage rates right here, sticker shock set in. The current mortgage rate is at 5.3% right now for a 30-year fixed mortgage. Guys, this thing is going to continue to implode, and like I said, I've already predicted the housing market will crash. Not crash significantly, but it's going to be cut in half by 50%. Prices will come down by the fall. September, August, the deals will be had in a lot of these hot markets like Vegas and California and Florida and Texas, Illinois, New York. Deals will be out there because as mortgage rates rise, prices drop. That's the general economic consensus. However, inventory, people have been telling me that inventory is short, and so that's going to keep this bubble inflated for a little bit longer. That's true too, but we're going to definitely see deflation in these assets like homes, but we're going to see hyperinflation continuing for all the daily assets that we need: food, supplies, prepping supplies, gas, utilities, everything like that's going to go up. So we're going to see both of that. We're going to see hyperinflation and deflation. That's what makes this depression so dangerous, because it's going to really squeeze out the people who are really trying to make a living and do things, because the Federal Reserve Bank, they should have been raising rates. They should have been raising these rates 10, 12, 15 years ago, and they did not. They let the bubble continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is why the precedent has been set for a depression. We're in a recession. We're going into a recession right now. By the end of this year, we'll be into a double dip recession, as the economists would like to call it. You're not going to see it until all this money, because still a lot of money sloshing around in the system. Once the money stops, the liquidity stops, which was shown here, 50% of Americans have been worrying about, money. All that liquidity is going to come to a stop after this summer, and then the fall, look out. That's when things are going to get really, really tight. So continue to prepare, continue to save money, cut out things that you think that you don't necessarily need. Have fun too, but just remember that, the good days, the good times, these are the last few years of the good times as far as the Western world, America and Europe, has been known, as we go into slightly tighter times coming up here in 2023 and 2024. So be blessed, everyone. I'll talk to you very soon. Thank you for listening.